If you're feeling quite stiff and don't have the time after your runs to work on any mobility program and you want to make sure that you're not getting injured, I've got 4 simple exercises that you could do anytime, anywhere to help improve your running efficiency and reduce that tightness. We'll go through these exercises one by one together and I'll explain to you how and why these mobility exercises will help you move a lot better, more efficiently, and reduce the risk of injuries. The first exercise is the lunge hip flexor stretch with an element of rotation. Now, when it comes to running, the importance of hip flexion and extension allows you to stride a lot more efficiently and improve your cadence. If you have a restriction in your flexion or extension phase of your hip, it will allow for other areas to compensate and take extra load where it shouldn't, such as at the pelvis. It can cause excessive rotation, which may put a lot more pressure into your lower back. As you do the lunge stretch, how I want you to set this up is create a triangle position with your legs so everything is nice and long, straight, and as you lower yourself like you're proposing, I want the knees over the ankles with a bum squeeze. By allowing this butt squeeze, slightly move forward with your hips to generate that stretch through the front side of the pocket. Hold it for a couple of seconds. Ease off, stand back up, and then reset that through for about 5 reps. The alternative to this is just to be stationary in a lunge position. Again, positioning your ankles, your knees on top of each other as if they're 90 degrees, butt squeeze and a gentle lean forward at the hips will allow for the hip flexors to get that stretch. You should feel this through the front thigh. Now, if you want to add that thoracic mobility component to this, what you need to do is just grab your opposite hand, pull as if doing your bicep curl, and allow the shoulder blades and the upper back to get close down to the ground, as if you're wringing a towel. Where you should feel this is into the upper back behind the shoulder blades, across the lats, and hold and breathe for about 2 to 3 seconds. Then to move into that extension phase, you just place your hand on top of your thigh, push into it, and then just gently bring your chest towards the sky. Breathe in, breathe out for 2 to 3 seconds, and then just reset back to the center. You can repeat this for about 3 reps in each phase to allow for your upper back and your hip flexors to open up. The second exercise is to work on the hip rotations, the internal and external rotation of the hip. And given that running is a very linear sport, so just a straight line movement, runners tend to neglect the rotation of the hips. By having an improved rotation in the hips, it allows for the legs to move within its greater ranges. A greater mobility around the hip girdle will allow for an improved force production, force absorption, and stability. In the hip rotation exercise, I love to add that rotation component into it as well. 2 birds in 1 stone, as it helps open up the thoracic rotation. And I'll explain a little bit later down the track to why the thoracic is so important in running. Now, this exercise is generally done quite inefficiently. The way that I prescribe these towards my runners is that there has to be an intention. So when you line yourself up, I want again 90-90 in terms of ankles in line with your knees, in line with your hips, creating this 90-degree angle from the front leg and the back. Now, the common mistake that people do is just they try to get as close as possible down to the ground and they don't feel any stretch whatsoever. How I like to tell my runners to intentionally do this exercise is to drive down the knee and the ankle into the ground on its own without your hands, and as straight as possible, lean your mid-chest down to your mid-thigh, and that should increase that tension in that right pocket or the glutes. Hold this for a couple of seconds and then lean back, and as you lean back, keep nice and tall. Similarly with the back leg, we want to get that internal rotation stretch happening by pushing the ankle and the knee into the ground. This should intensify the stretch and allow for a greater improvement in your hip girdle rotations. In terms of reps, 3 to 5 each way will be perfect. Now, if you're trying to do 2 birds in 1 stone, I like to add that thoracic rotation. So just reach and crawl your hands across as far as possible behind you, creating this nice little rainbow effect, and you should feel that stretch into the lats, into the lower back, and play around with the angles to hit different areas of where you feel your tension point is. Now, with the thoracic mobility, it's super important to make sure that you're able to work on this as well, because it has a huge effect on your posture, your breathing mechanics, and overall running efficiency. And the mobility of the upper back and the thoracic is super important when running. Now, if you're experiencing a super tight back, your ability to deep breathe and get your diaphragm to work is limited, which will reduce your ability to uptake oxygen, and when you're running, it's obviously an oxygen-based fuel. This leads to more shallow breathing, increasing your effort to take deep breaths. A good thoracic mobility also helps maintain a relaxed posture when you run. A limited thoracic mobility forces the upper back to work harder and increases the compensatory aspects into the lower back and may cause lower back pain or overuse injuries down the hip. The third exercise is targeting the inner thigh, the adductors. They have a crucial importance in creating stability into the hip and the knee when we're landing and when we're striding. The adductors work alongside the glutes and the hamstrings to help stabilize and force absorb and produce during a single leg stance. Tight or weak adductors can lead to a crossover during your swing and stance phase, which can lead to a reduction in force production and overuse injuries into the knees and or ankle. And again, because the adductors help with hip extension, it is going to help your stride length be more efficient and more powerful. When doing the Cossack exercise, it is super important to start off with legs as wide as you possibly can. Squeeze the quads as comfortably as you can to create this nice straight line, and squeeze the glutes as well so your hips aren't sitting in a V position. Then as you lower down to one side, sit your hips backwards so you are able to get a lot more glute and quad activation on the side that you're going down on. And with the leg that is straight, make sure you continue keeping that quad straight to ensure that you get the best stretch into your adductors. Now, if you're feeling this into your knees, it's because you're allowing the knees to go over the toes, which increases the body weight pressure into the kneecap. So what you'd have to do is just sit back a little bit more, even pressure around the whole foot to allow for this comfortability to occur. Then what you'll do when you're sitting down into this Cossack position for 1 to 2 seconds is gently slide across the floor horizontally like a belt at the convenience store, making sure that you squeeze the quad on the opposite side to lengthen, to ensure again the inner thigh is getting that optimal stretch. And you can repeat this 3 to 4 times each side and as many sets as you would like. And the last and the fourth exercise is the sciatic nerve flossing and hamstring stretch. Now, the sciatic nerve runs from the lower back down into your glutes, behind your thigh and down your leg. It can become quite compressed from prolonged sitting or repetitive use from training. This nerve glide is great for runners experiencing tightness in the lower back or the shooting pain down back behind the thigh when they extend the leg. If it is quite tight, it can generally tug into the lower back and cause back tightness. The sciatic nerve glide helps the nerve glide through the pathway, unstucking it in a sense, help it feel more free, such as flossing your teeth or cleaning that middle straw. So when you're doing this sciatic nerve flossing, lay onto your back, bring your thighs up so your knees are above your hips, gently hug or support behind the thigh, toes to nose, and straighten your shin out as straight as possibly as you feel comfortable, and back down. I'll create this flossing for 10 reps on each with a bent knee and straightening, and then the foot. And if you want to further extend and make the nerve more floss, what you can do is chin to chest and bring your upper back off the ground and continue this flossing method. And so my tip with these exercises is don't rush the movement. You want to create some quality motions and ensure that you get the best stretch and mobility. Faster doesn't always mean better. With each rep, just make sure they're comfortable and that you're not in pain. These mobility exercises are great to do post-run or on your recovery days. So my best tip for your bang for your buck is to just snack through these exercises through the day if you are running short on time. So doing a couple of reps here and there throughout will be a lot better than lump sumping it at the end of the day. And those are my 4 exercises. Peace.